No. Oh, yeah.
How was it
Because I do the
spelled?
choir.
Harrell.
Thanks, Rhoda.
Yeah. H.
H.
Good morning, everybody. For the few of you who don't know me, I'm Bill Urbrock. Well, we usually start this a little bit late.
Men in high
People
places,
kind of keep
young lads,
coming in.
wives, and maidens.
But we're going to try and start exactly at
I
9
wish you were
o'clock
married.
with the production. A couple of words about this. First of all, I want to thank these professional cast members who come to us from Chicago and Boston, LA, New York. I mean, we really put together a terrific group. And I also want to say a special thank you because they've put in extra time. They've rehearsed at least twice, and I think maybe once behind my back that I wasn't aware of. So it's really, they've done a lot of work. So I hope you appreciate what we accomplished here. This play was originally written when I was in seminary. I was in a chancel drama writing sort of a thing, and I wrote 5 or 6 different plays, and this one made its way into publication. It's in a book called "What Are We Going to Do with All These Rotting Fish?" and 7 other short plays for church and community. And of course, this one was called "It Was in the Stars." So it was first published in 1970, and then there was a second printing in 72 and a third printing in 75. Wow. And if any of you would like to buy this, I went on Amazon yesterday, and they do have some used, very good copies that are selling for like $7, $8, $9, plus $4 shipping, of course. But that's less than what this cost originally, so it's not bad. So if anybody wants one. It was intended also for young people to do, and it has been performed around the country in various venues. One of the latest ones was at Salem UCC outside of Sheboygan. One of my friends, my best man actually, who was a minister on Long Island for many years, had his young people do this almost every year. It was first performed in the chapel at MIT with graduate students. So, without further ado, the audience also has a part in here, so I've given you some songs so that you can help our 3 astrologers as they do their musical interludes. And I will be the person who introduces the scenes, and you're just going to have to imagine all kinds of shtick going on. Because the idea is we have outrageous costumes. You know that the story in Matthew, which is the only place that mentions the Magi, simply says that Magi, M-A-G-O-I, came from the eastern parts. Anatolon, that's all it says. They came from the eastern parts. We think that these Magi originally were some sort of a clan or an ethnic group within what today we call Iran. They're mentioned in the Behistun inscription of Darius around 500 BC. And then they became associated with a priestly caste, we think, who supposedly knew all kinds of secrets of the gods and so forth. And then, 500 years later, by the time of the Greeks and the Romans, all sorts of stories had risen about these Magi, these Magi. Oh, that they were astrologers, and they associated with Babylon and the great ideas the Babylonians had about the stars and the constellation, and also that they could do spells and witchcraft, hence our word magic. We still have that word from the Magi. And there is a very famous story in the book of Acts. It's in Acts chapter 8, when Philip and some of the other disciples go up towards Samaria to spread the news about Jesus, and they run into a fellow who is named Simon the Magus. He's a magi, he's a magus, and he has a reputation for doing all kinds of spells and for doing magi kind of stuff. And when he sees Philip doing signs of healing, he converts to Christianity. You have to read the story. It's Acts chapter 8. And when he sees the apostles giving the gift of the Holy Spirit to those who are being baptized and believing, he wants to buy it. He wishes to buy the ability to give the Holy Spirit, at which point Peter reams him out, and he very meekly says, please pray to the Lord for me so that nothing bad happens to me. So there is another very famous person. And since he wanted to buy the gift, and his name was Simon, that's where we get the idea of simony from. When you want to buy a political office or you want to buy influence, that's where we get that word. So if you want to read about a magus, a single one, that's the story in chapter 8. So all we know is that these were people with a reputation for knowing the stars. It's never told how many they are. They're certainly never called kings. They certainly don't have names. Everything about the Christmas story, right, is outrageous. And it fits with what St. Paul says in his first letter to the Corinthians, that the foolishness of God exceeds the wisdom of human beings, and that the weakness of God is much stronger than humans. So I hope you'll enjoy our foolishness, but I hope the foolishness also kind of just warms your heart on this special Epiphany Sunday as we start Epiphany. So, it was in the stars, a serio-comic strip. Scene 1, a room, Caspar and Melchior.
Oh. Hey, Melchior, come take a look at this.
What's that?
Well, come take a look at it.
Did you find something interesting then?
All right, you take a look at it.
Let's see. I can't see a thing, all blurred.
Got it backwards.
Oh, okay, let's see. So you have. Ah, lovely. Lovely.
You see it then?
See it? Of course I see it. Sirius was never more lovely.
No, not serious.
Not serious? Of course I'm serious.
I meant it's not serious. I wanted you to see.
Oh, I see.
Look again. Between halfway east and a quarter west.
Whatever do you expect me to see there? Hardly the most interesting patch of sky, I should say.
Hurry up now, it might go away.
All right.
Do you see?
Do I see my stars?
You see it.
I see it, but it's most extraordinary. What in the world is a star doing up there? And so brilliant. I say, one really wouldn't even need a telescope to see it. Of course not. There it is, bright and clear.
Bright and clear.
That star is perfectly visible to the unaided eye. Why did we even have to go through this business with this telescope?
Would it seem more scientific?
Oh yes indeed, you're quite right. We must be scientific.
Especially with astrology no longer generally recognized to be a scientific discipline.
How true, how true.
And the audience will join in. The ancients bequeath us an admirable lore of science long practiced by wise ones of yore. The fate of the future and all that's gone before, it's written in the stars. It's written in the stars. It's written in the stars for wise ones to read.
Unfortunate? Why unfortunate?
Well, it would be a saner world if people still believed in astrology. Don't you agree?
I meant, what do you make of the star?
Oh yes, the star. The star. The star! Let's have another look. Lovely, lovely.
But what do you make of it?
I really don't know. Haven't you anything about it in your textbooks?
Well, I looked. Let's see. Midnight moon? Nothing. Nothing in mornings in Florence. Where in heaven's name is Florence? Yeah, I thought perhaps in some of those old volumes of yours.
Oh, capital idea. It would have to come to that anyway, sooner or later. One must turn to the ancient masters, tried and true. Okay. Here's a fine musty tome.
The heavenly bodies according to the wisdom of Chaldea.
Admirable astrologers, those Babylonians. Now, then, what do you suppose I should look under?
Stars, comma, aberrant.
Stars, stars. How about stars, comma, extraordinary?
Go ahead, look it up.
Okay, page CCCLVIII.
358.
Here we are, page CCCLVIII. Stars, comma, extraordinary.
May I?
Not at all. Find anything?
Yes, I have it. Portents of royal birth. The extraordinary appearance of a star, perceivable also by the unaided eye between halfway east and a quarter west, invariably heralds the birth of one who is to become king. Well, who would have thought it? Here's news for you.
But who'd believe us? Nobody. Nobody believes in astrology anymore. Pity. It truly is a remarkable star.
Fit for a king.
Scene 2, a railroad depot. Enter Casper and Melchior. Melchior carrying 2 suitcases. Casper carrying all sorts of astrologer's equipment, telescopes, zodiac charts, horoscope books, you know the works.
Pipe, bathrobe, slippers. Did you bring enough changes of underwear? It'll be a long trip, you know.
All packed. I hope you didn't forget any of the charts that we'll need.
No need to worry about that. I've checked and double checked. Even brought along the farmer's almanac.
Good. One can't be too thorough.
Especially at an opportune time like this. Think of it, Melchior, in the company of kings.
It's exciting, isn't it? I've never got to cast horoscope at a royal birth before. I do hope it'll be a favorable one.
Well, we certainly won't win any friends for astrology if it isn't.
You don't suppose we'll have any trouble, do you?
Trouble? With all these charts? It'll be a cinch.
I meant with the people at court. I've heard they're very jealous of their prerogatives. Suppose the royal astrologers refuse to let us do the horoscope. I'd hate to be turned away after all these preparations.
Don't worry. We have a special invitation. We saw the star, didn't we?
Yes, of course, the star.
And besides, there won't be any royal astrologers. Their office was dropped from the palace patronage a long time ago.
Ooh, oh yes, I keep forgetting.
People don't believe in astrology anymore. The march of time has thrust aside.
At this moment, a man, Balthazar, who is hurrying past, crashes into Caspar, sending everything flying.
Thrust aside our noble profession.
Sic transit gloria astrologiae.
I'm terribly sorry. Here, I'll help you gather your belongings.
Hey, careful of the telescope. Didn't break, did it? Don't tear the charts. My books, are they okay?
There, I guess that's everything. Sorry to have upset you so.
Quite all right, quite all right. Could have happened to anyone.
I hope you won't think it rude, but just what are all those things that you're carrying, those maps and stuff?
Charts!
What are all the charts for?
What did I tell you? People not only don't believe, they don't even remember.
Need more. Pity.
Sorry, I didn't quite understand.
Charts of the heavens, the scientific tools of the professional astrologer.
We're astrologers, you know.
No, he doesn't.
Astrologers? You mean like stargazers?
We've been called that on occasion.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
Oh, no offense taken.
I simply meant that I didn't know there were people like that, like you around anymore. You'll pardon my saying so, but I really thought we'd dispense with all that, whatever you call it.
Astrology?
Thank you, astrology.
Well, we haven't.
So I see. You really think there's something to it, do you?
Something to it? You're obviously not acquainted.
Oh, I'm not acquainted at all.
And they call this an enlightened age.
Tell you what, let's cast his horoscope.
Sort of a rehearsal for the big show.
Now see here, I don't know what you have in mind with this horoscope business, but I'll have nothing to do with it. I am no guinea pig.
Oh, nothing of the sort. We merely mean to give you a reading.
What the stars have predicted for you today.
You mean like telling my fortune?
Fortune telling is charlatan's business. Astrology is a science.
Never mind. He wouldn't understand the difference.
All right.
Fine. Now then, what's your sign?
My sign?
When were you born?
What's that got to do with it?
We must know your birth date so we can tell under which sign of the zodiac you were born.
It's really essential for anyone's horoscope.
January 30th.
Oh, good. Aquarius. Persons born under Aquarius are quick-witted, intelligent, and love a good time.
Yeah, suits me to a T.
I think we have a convert.
Okay, let's see. Looking up your horoscope for today. As you can see, this involves careful research and compilations.
A stranger you may meet today
who will aid you in
a special way.
If to his friendship you're inclined, a happy future you may find. Not only that, but today is Thursday, your lucky day.
You recognize now, no doubt, that your running into me was not by chance.
It was in the stars.
You don't say.
We do say, and I think that under the circumstances, we should invite this gentleman to join us on our pilgrimage.
Under the circumstances, I believe you're right. Mr.
Balthazar.
Caspar here. Caspar. Pleased to make your acquaintance. My companion in study, Mr. Melchior.
How do you do?
A pleasure, I'm sure.
We are going to cast horoscope at a royal birth.
A royal birth? I wasn't aware that there had been. You don't say. Where?
Well, we don't know for certain yet. It all depends upon the star.
The star?
The star. We're following a star.
Oh, of course. I should have realized.
Will you come along with us?
Well, if it's in the stars, I don't see how I can really refuse.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's board the train and be off.
So let's help them on their way with the song of the travelers to the tune of Jingle Bells. Travelers three, 1, 2, 3, travelers three are we. We'll follow the stars to lands far till we come where we want to be. On the road, hot, wet, cold, whatever the weather may be. We'll follow the star to lands never far, till it leads to our destiny.
No.
That's okay, let's go on. Scene 3, here we go.
Ah,
We're on a street. We are now on a street.
oh, what an exhausting trip.
Where under heaven are we?
If I understand our conductor correctly, a town called Salem, something or other.
Oh yeah, sign on that hotel over there says Jerusalem.
You're sure this is the right place?
Reasonably sure.
Star and the charge point in this direction. Oh, excuse me, sir.
Yes?
Could you direct us to the palace? We came to pay our respects to the new king.
To whom?
The new king.
The new king. I'm afraid you're mistaken. We have no new king.
Oh, but you must.
We've seen his star in the east.
Stars or no stars, there is no new king around here. King Herod is firmly ensconced on his throne.
Come, my good man. Let's have none of those cavalier remarks. You're addressing two of the world's eminent astrologers. The stars have informed them that you have a new king. The stars never lie. Now, if you'll kindly point out the way to the palace, we'll trouble you no further.
Oh.
Thank you. Well, gentlemen, shall we proceed to the palace?
What's the use? Didn't you hear what that man said?
There's no new king around here.
Oh, well, what does he know about it? He's probably not at all acquainted with the stars.
Yeah, but if a new king had been born, shouldn't there be some general rejoicing? What sort of excitement have we found here? Nothing. I surely expected some sort of celebrations to be in progress. No bands, no parade, no dancing in the streets, no colored lights, no holidays. Just business as usual. Why, there aren't even any flags or banners.
Not a stitch of bunting on the houses. I'm afraid he's right. There's no new king here. We've come on a wild goose chase.
And I so wanted to cast a royal horoscope. The first time for me, you know.
Gentlemen, why these gloomy forecasts of failure? Why these distraught countenances? These protestations of doom? Bethink yourselves, gentlemen. No mere whim prompted this pilgrimage, but the encouragement of heaven itself. This is a scientific expedition, guided by the very stars attuned to the music of the eternal spheres. The sun shines upon our path. The zodiac grants benediction to our search. Never doubt but that we shall find the new king at journey's end. Follow your star.
Our star.
Our star!
To the palace.
To
To the palace.
Let's help them to be stalwart. Be stalwart then, behave like men, no doubts distract our mind. We'll follow the star to lands afar, the new king we shall find. And now we move to the palace. King Herod and a counselor are talking. But they insist on seeing you, your majesty.
They insist. They insist. Have I no choice in the matter? Have kings no mere prerogatives? I don't want to see them. Off with their heads. Boil them in oil. Throw them to the lions.
But your majesty, this is the 21st century. Such things simply aren't done anymore. Besides, we're a constitutional government. The people run the show.
Must you keep reminding me? Am I no longer allowed even the illusion of grandeur? I command that these men be removed from the palace grounds.
It's impossible, your majesty. We're open to the public from 9 to 5. And they are the public. They pay their admission.
The public. Damn the public! Give them a refund.
Shh, Your Majesty. Suppose they're reporters. The last time you blurted out a remark like that, your ratings went down 20 points in the Gallup polls. It took us weeks to rebuild your image.
I don't care. The public should be more considerate of the strains I'm under, trying to administer such a
Such a delicate office.
oh,
Oh, they are aware, Your Majesty. I dare say you've held up admirably.
thank you.
Now you really must see these 3 gentlemen. They've come a long way. We mustn't keep them waiting too long. The Crown Imperial cannot afford a reputation for being impolite.
Oh, all right. Show them in.
And please, remember your manners. Your Majesty, may I present Melchior, Caspar, and Balthazar.
We welcome you.
Your
Majesty's
humble servants.
Now then, what may we do for you? We are prepared to accept gifts, pose for pictures, autograph books, kiss babies, bless marriages, and you may receive complimentary invitations to the opera, the ballet, the races, the movies, and grand openings of all sorts. We are further prepared, as far as our schedule permits, to address patriotic gatherings, neighborhood meetings, scholarly conferences, sports banquets, men's, women's, or family groups, provided, of course, that none of them aims to solicit votes or funds for a political party. We must keep aloof from partisan politics.
Your Majesty is very kind. In fact, however, we came to request none of those things.
Indeed. Well then, what did you come for?
We come to offer our congratulations, Your Majesty.
On the birth of the new king, Your Majesty.
And we
request the privilege to cast his horoscope,
Your Majesty.
Congratulations.
New king? Horoscope?
Well, what about the queen? She hasn't been...
Oh, Your Majesty! Most emphatically not.
Well then, whatever is all this nonsense all about, would you kindly repeat why you are here? The whole story, slowly.
It all started when I saw this unusually brilliant star through my telescope. Actually, one didn't really need a telescope to see it, but I happened to be scanning the sky through my telescope when I saw it. So I asked Melchior what to make of it, and he got out this old volume entitled The Heavenly Bodies According to the Wisdom of Chaldea. I wanted to check under stars, comma, aberrant, but Melchior found the reference under stars, comma, ordinary. And there it was, the extraordinary appearance of a star perceivable by the unaided eye between halfway east and a quarter west invariably heralds the birth of one who is not king. I memorized the reference, as you can see. So we decided to follow the star till it should bring us to the new king so we could cast his horoscope. The whole idea was to sort of make astrology respectable again, since so many people have abandoned it, and we thought the prediction of a royal birth by an extraordinary star would convince people of how scientific and disciplined it really is. Inside, we've never cast a royal horoscope before. Then we met Balthazar in the depot, and he decided to come with us. Melchior saw the star in this direction, so we came to your city, found out